One thing that I think is completely obvious, but maybe just needs to be said occasionally, is that I really think that articulating your problems can just solve them. I think that sometimes just having to explain exactly what your problem is a incredible way to solve the problem, because by really focusing on giving shape to the exact details of the problem in a lot of ways gives you enough clarity to solve them in the moment that you explain them correctly. So I am pretty pro repeatedly trying to solve problems by just repeatedly explaining problems to people. And so today, I want to try to explain the exact problem that I am facing. And maybe you've heard it 1,000 times, and maybe you, as the viewer, can relate it back to me better than I can to you. But the problem that I am currently trying to solve is one around filming YouTube videos. And there are 1,000 iterations of this problem, and the problem keeps changing shape slightly as I solve different pieces of it. So I do think I've made a lot of progress. I think that now that I have solved a lot of the logistical elements of the problem, there is a psychological piece that is left. And for me, the psychological piece that is left at the moment is confidence. And that's kind of surprising to say, because I generally think of myself as a pretty confident person. But when it comes to the creative work of Answer in Progress, I care about it a lot. And because of that, there is perfectionism that arises from doing that work. And the bit that I am currently stuck on is a type of procrastination that comes from the fear of being wrong. There are two things that I think are going on in my script right now. One is my confidence in the fact that my confidence in whether or not the story that I am telling is compelling enough, and if it's coherent enough, and if this is the version of the story that is the best to tell. Now, I think I've solved that because I've started working with some story editors and making sure that the story is developed and just really thinking about it. But the second piece, especially with this piece of research, is something that I really care about, but it's also a domain that isn't necessarily my expertise, which is the factual accuracy of the document. And by the document, I mean the script. And so I am perpetually worried about whether or not I am correct. And while I have done a lot to try to make sure that I am correct and I am capturing the nuance of the situation enough in order to have a reasonable perspective on stuff, because I am going to be a little bit more opinionated on where I fall in terms of where this problem lies, the problem that I'm going to talk about in the video. I want to be fair to the alternative perspectives, and that is the thing that is somewhat crippling me, because I don't want anyone who has an alternative perspective to watch this video and feel like they were strawmanned or were taken in bad faith. And that is somewhat crippling me. Somewhat crippling me from starting to shoot. Now, there is another perspective that could happen, that could be true, which is that I am finding ways to not film because of confidence around whether or not I can film this video well enough to be a video that I can be proud of. And that, saying that out loud, might be true, but I do worry about this factual accuracy piece. I think that if I can solve the factual accuracy piece, then I have very few qualms around making videos left. And that is a scary and exciting prospect, because the actual doing part, the part that is the physical labor hours that I need to put in order to get a video done, I don't think are as many as some people might think. I think the main thing that makes me drag my feet are truly related to psychological and logistical pressures. And the logistical ones, I think, have been broadly solved. There's a few extra things that I need to solve around audio, but generally, talking to camera for almost 100 days has solved a lot of them. And so, what is left? I think I need to try and face this fact checking problem in it directly, and then just get on with it. Just start shooting, and I'm excited.